Hi there. Oh, I'm the book lady. I am so glad you are with me today. I brought two kind of different books, but in a way, they're related. You're going to see. This is called Whale in a Fishbowl. Now, it isn't really a fishbowl. I looked on the other side of the book, and you will see that there's a city, and the whale is in this big, it's almost like an aquarium, and you can go see the whale. See, have you ever been to an aquarium where you can see sharks and stuff like that? It's like that. But they're saying whale in a fishbowl because it's like a giant fishbowl. It's by Troy Howell. And then, what do you do with a problem? Have you ever had a problem? Now, I sort of suspect that most of you have never had a problem. Not a big problem. You might have had a fear. You were afraid of something, but a problem. Okay, so look what I brought. This is very important for my fishbowl story. And this is important for my problem story. And so is this. So let's get started. Oh, look. See? We open up and what do we see? We see just blue. Kind of blue-green. What do you think? You think it's water? Good guess. Wednesday lived in a fishbowl. It was the only home she knew. Her name was Wednesday because, like the day of the week, she was smack in the middle of everything. I also call Wednesday Hump Day. We'll talk about that later. Everything circled around her. People flurrying, hurrying, worrying. Traffic, wheeling, peeling, squealing, because her big aquarium was in the middle of the city. Even the sun, moon, and stars circled around her. Everything. Wow. But a calm bit of blue that lay at the end of it all. Here we go. See, she could look out over and she'd see this beautiful blue. It was there. If she leaped high enough, her heart leaped too when she saw it, though she didn't know why. See, when she'd jump out of her bowl, she'd see it. And it made her so happy, but she didn't know why. Mostly she would drift, watching the world go by. People and cars, day and night. Then she'd think about the blue. And wish to see it again. She'd gather all her strength and make the leap. And there was the beautiful blue. Beautiful. Soon she couldn't get enough of the blue. People said she was doing tricks. Look! Oh! Crowds clapped. Horns honked. Oh, Wednesday would leap and leap. Leaping became her routine. Your routine is something you do, same time all the time. But sometimes she'd lie along the bottom. She'd try burying her head in the sand. Well, one morning, a girl in a paisley dress approached and tapped on the glass. Wednesday came close. "Hey," said the girl. Wednesday gazed into her eyes. She had seen that blue before. Her eyes were blue. "I'm Piper, and you're lovely." Wednesday's reflection shone in Piper's eyes. "But you don't belong in there." Wednesday blinked. She looked at her familiar shells and plants and at the starfish on the rock. This was her home. If she didn't belong here, well, then where? Piper was leaving. A woman was rushing her off. Before they were lost in the crowd, Piper called, "You belong in the sea." The sea? The sea? What was the sea? Wednesday wondered about it all day long and all night, too. What did the sea have that her fishbowl didn't have? Well, now she couldn't sleep. She scarcely touched her food. She no longer leaped. Could Piper have been wrong? Piper wasn't a whale. What did a little girl know? Without answers, Wednesday gave up on the sea. And when she did, she thought about the blue again. Oh, she ached to see it. So she gathered her strength, thrust her tail, and leaped. The blue wasn't there. It was gone. Nothing but gray. Oh, Wednesday sank into the sand. See, there's sand at the bottom of this giant fishbowl. Oh, her heart hurt. If she cried, her tears were lost to the water. Then she lifted her head. Maybe she hadn't leaped high enough. She would try one final time. If the blue wasn't there, she would leap no more. Up, Wednesday leaped, higher than ever before. You got to see this. She leaped so high beyond the bowl. Wow, she even leaped above the book. Isn't that fun? Her tail caught the rim and the bowl toppled over. Torrents of water gushed out. The water carried Wednesday down the avenue, past all she'd ever known. So she's coming down almost like this river of water, past all the buildings and everything that she would see when she was swimming around in her bowl. It carried her into the gray. But the gray was disappearing and giving way to something else. A glorious, breathtaking blue. Oh, a blue that went on forever. She plunged in it. She swam and swam and swam, and she skimmed and soared and spouted and dived. She turned somersaults. She swam strong and far and deep. And for the first time in her life, she sang. She sang about the blue and everything new around her. She sang about Piper, who had known where Wednesday belonged. Here she was, at last. Then there came someone just like her, who said, "Hello, Wednesday, welcome to the middle of the sea." I love that picture. That's another whale. And then the last page is wonderful. Do you see? If you look very closely, you see them. They're friends now. and they're spouting water from their spout. Those are some happy whales. You know, I think the other whale's going to teach Wednesday how to live in the huge sea, because it's very different than living in a huge bowl. I like this book. Did you like this book? Whale in a Fishbowl. All right. Now, what do you do with a problem? By Kobi Yamada. It's kind of funny, but boy, did I learn something from it. I hope you do too. I don't know how it happened, but one day I had a problem. And if you look at the picture, the artist has made the problem like this gray ball of yarn. I didn't want it, and I didn't ask for it. I really didn't like having a problem, but it was there. Why is it here? What does it want? What do you do with a problem? I wanted to make it go away. I shooed it and scowled at it. I tried ignoring it. Nothing worked. I started to worry about my problem. What if it swallows me up? Whoa. And see this picture? His problem is getting bigger. Why is it getting bigger? What if my problem sneaks up and gets me? What if it takes all my things? Oh no. Boy, I worried a lot. I worried about what would happen. I worried about what could happen. I worried about this and worried about that. Boy, this problem is really getting to be a big deal. And the more I worried, the bigger my problem became. Yeah. Ooh. I wished it would just disappear. I tried everything. I tried everything I could to hide from it. I even found ways to disguise myself. But it still found me. And the more I avoided my problem, the more I saw it everywhere. I thought about it all the time, and I didn't feel good at all. Wow. This problem has turned into a menace. I couldn't take it anymore. This has to stop. Maybe I was making my problem bigger and scarier than it actually was. After all, my problem hadn't really swallowed me up or attacked me. I realized I had to face it. So, even though I didn't want to, even though I was really afraid, I got ready and I tackled my problem. When I got face to face with it, I discovered something. My problem wasn't what I thought it was. I discovered it had something beautiful inside. My problem held opportunity. That's a big grown-up word. Do you know what opportunity is? I'm going to tell you when we finish the book. It was an opportunity for me to learn and to grow, to be brave, to do something. And I love the way before, when the problem was really, really huge, all the pages were kind of gray and brown. And now we're seeing some yellow. It showed me that it was important to look closely because some opportunities only come once. Whoa. So now I see problems differently. I'm not afraid of them anymore because I know their secret. Every problem has an opportunity for something good. You just have to look for it. And that's it. An opportunity means a chance for good. A chance, there's something good there. So, I was thinking about this book, and I thought, you know, when you're 5 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old, or even 3 years, you don't have a whole lot of problems. But then I remembered when I was young, when I was 5 years old and 6 years old, I moved a lot because my father was in the Air Force and we moved a lot. And so sometimes I was very nervous about going to a new school, and that was sort of a problem for me. I would think about it so much, and it would just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And you know what? It still was just my little problem. I was going to go to a new school. I was afraid I wouldn't make friends. I was afraid I wouldn't like the teacher. I was afraid I would be at recess all by myself. I was afraid the kids wouldn't like my shoes. I just was making my problem bigger, 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 bigger. I couldn't sleep at night. So do you know, finally, it was that first day and I had to go to school. Now, it was usually in the middle of a school year. It wasn't the first day of school. And my mom took me, and I went into the classroom, and they introduced me, and the kids were so nice. And immediately at recess, they all came over and asked me where I used to live, and, you know, they wanted to know more about me. And I ended up making some really good friends. That's the opportunity. You had this little problem. Oh, I'm nervous. I don't want to go to the new school. Oh, I don't like my new home. And then you think about it. You face it. It's an opportunity! Yay! See, problems become opportunities if you let them. And you know, I have to give a little credit to my mother because she probably could have kept me home and talked to me and let me get a little bit used to our new home and the new situation, but she got me right in that school. And at first I thought she was mean to make me do that. It was the best thing she could have ever done because she knew the opportunity. I remember when I was 6 years old, we moved again, and at the school I was at first, we printed. Do you know what I mean by printed? Like we would print our name. We would print A, B, C. But at my new school, they wrote in cursive, which is that fancy writing where it all is connected. Sometimes it's very pretty. A, B, C. I had no idea what they were doing. I didn't know how to do that. I was very, very nervous. I had a huge problem. But guess what? I let the problem get big. I went home, I cried, I told my mother, I don't know how to write cursive. But she said, tell your teacher, you didn't learn cursive at your old school. I was afraid to talk to my teacher. But I went, I told my teacher, we didn't know how to write cursive at my old school. Oh, okay. And she would give me extra little lessons, and I learned cursive so quickly. And so I turned a problem into an opportunity. So whenever you have a problem, don't let it get too big. When it's small, look it right in the eye and see if you can turn it into an opportunity. It's not the end of the world. All right, I think the reason these books kind of go together is that Whale sort of had a problem. I don't think Whale knew she had a problem. I think she just thought that was her world, this giant bowl where she would swim round and round and round all day and all night. And she'd see people because the bowl was in the middle of the city. Do you see it there? Oh, it was huge. If it can fit a whale, it's huge. But it wasn't as huge as that patch of what? Blue. She would jump, she'd make a leap, and she'd see this little patch of blue. So she was having a little bit of a problem. Something inside her was aching, hurting to see the blue. And that little girl, Piper, said simple words, "You don't belong here. You don't belong here." But she didn't know. Wednesday, the whale, did not know where she belonged. Well, if I don't belong here, I've lived here all my life. There's sand at the bottom of this giant bowl, and there's some rocks and shells. Where do I belong? And then she remembered something. When she would have fun, now and then she'd leap out while she was up high. She'd see what? What did she see? Blue. She'd see blue. She'd leap up and see blue out of her eyes. What's that blue? She had no idea what the blue was, but she knew it made her happy. There was something inside her that said, come on, come here. This is where you belong. So I think it was sweet that she finally, and then don't you love the way the book, they made it so that she leaped so high, she leaped out of the bowl. See that? She leaped out of the, look at how I have to flip the page all the way up. Look at that. But her tail, see, you've got this big bowl, she's leaping out of it, her tail hit the bowl and tipped it over. Whoa! I mean, there was a river of water which pushed her down the street, or in this book they said down the avenue. She went by all the buildings and everything that was her world. That's all she ever saw. And what happened? Look. Do you see her there? There's Wednesday. She just slid right into the blue. And she knew the minute she got in there That's where she belonged. Piper was right. You don't belong there. This is where she belonged. Oh, and you know whales can sing. Yeah. Well, then they tell. She did everything. Look at her. She is one happy, happy whale. She has never been able to do this. There was not enough room in that giant fishbowl for her to do somersaults. And she would dive down deep and then come up and shoot the water out of her spout. Oh, this whale was having some really, really good fun. Oh, and that's when she sang, and she sang about Piper, who had known where Wednesday belonged. And that's an important thing to know. Where do you belong? Where do you belong? You know, this morning when I woke up, I knew I belonged right here because all I wanted to do was read these 2 books to you. And you know that I go to the library and I get my books. And when I do that, I sit right there in the library. They have these soft chairs. I sit there and I read the books. I kind of read them out loud. And I think to myself, well, my friends like this book. And there's some books I say, yeah, no, they won't like this book. And I put it back. But I just knew you would like these books. A Whale in a Fishbowl. And you know, Wednesday the whale had a problem, but I don't think Wednesday knew she had a problem. And then, what do you do with a problem? The first thing you do is don't let it get so big and scary and make you not be able to eat and you can't sleep. It's all you think about. Don't let your problems do that. So anyway, at the library, I found these 2 books. You know, you can go to the library. All you have to have is a library card. Oh, I'm going to bring my library card someday and show it to you. And now they have these scanners and then ding, 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 ding. And I can take as many books as I want. But then you have to return the books when you're done with them. Yeah, they let you have them for, 2 or 3 weeks. But then you bring your books back so that some other children can read the books. Oh, libraries are wonderful. Plus, they're so much fun. I will see you next time. I hope you had lots of fun. And remember, tell your friends to watch The Book Lady right here. And I'm on YouTube. And we have so much fun. And until next time, you know what I say. Bye-bye.